Hi guys, Victoria here for Beyond Paper by Victoria. Welcome to my channel today. Today we're going to be making, well, this is a mouthful for me and I've not been able to pronounce it right from the off. It's called the Macabre Mausoleum. So I hope I have pronounced that right. And as you can have guessed, it is Halloween themed, okay. So I'm just going to guide you through all the dies that we have here, and it is a huge A4 plate full of dies, okay? And I've got them here in a magnetic sheet for me to work from. So I'm not going to show you any instructions because obviously we don't do that. If you're buying a genuine set from Tonic Studios, you will have your instructions in your set. If you get them from elsewhere, then you're kind of on your own there. So here we are. So this die here, you'll need to cut one of these. This is kind of like a main panel to the Macabre Mausoleum. There we go. Hopefully I shall be fluent by the time we finish this video. So you'll need one of those. You'll need two of these. You will need two of these. You'll need two of these. You'll need one of these. Okay, this is the back portion of the mausoleum. You'll need two of these, which is the roof. You'll need one of these. You'll need four of these. And you'll need two of these. They're also part of the roof. The base, you'll need one of these. And you'll need this element here with either debossed or not debossed. This die here is the slats for your roof. And then it has a top portion of the roof, so you're going to need two of these. There's your little cross for the front here, and here you have some fancy little hinges for the side of your doors here, and the doors open as well. You have your little oh, can't remember, skeleton, blimey, you can tell it's early, can't you? You've got your little skeleton there to put either outside or inside. You've got other decorations here with your pumpkins and scary faces and such what. You've got the spider. He also has a backing plate if you want to put a backing plate on. You have a window, so you can have some spooky curtains going on behind there. You'll need to cut two of these out. They will become apparent in the video. You'll need to cut 6 of these, and you will need to cut 6 of these. These are the brackets that hold your coffin together. As you'll see here, you need to cut the larger one out for your lid and the smaller one out for your base, so you'll need 2 of each of those. The rest are decorative. You'll need one of these, which is the hinge for your lid to your base for your coffin. And then you will need to cut 4 of these out, and you'll need to cut 2 of those out. You'll also need to cut out 4 of these and 2 of these, and they are also for the coffin section. And then you have this roof strip here, where you'll need to cut 2 of these. Also, you'll need to cut 2 of the wider hinge and 2 of the narrower hinge, and that'll be for the lid part. And then these are decorative pieces to go on the tops of your doors there. So, oh, and then you have some little sentiments where you've got keep out and RIP. So I think that is all the dies gone through. That's a backing plate there for your sentiment. And these little dies here, this is the pulley section to your coffin. So you'll need 2 of these back together, and you'll need 2 of these, okay. So that is all the dies. Now before I forget, I need to get some ribbon. So here's some shoestring ribbon. We're going to need this later on. So I'm going to push these dies to one side, and might need to bring them in to show you later, but for now they can go to one side. And we're going to focus to begin with on the base. Okay, so this box does have some sliding mechanisms involved. So remember when I said to you 2 squares, 4 of these, 1 of these, 1 of those, and 2 of those. Okay, so this is where we're going to begin with. I'm bringing in my glue press because it's so handy. And if you're not familiar with the glue press, Tonic Studios now sell the Sweet Petunia glue press, and it's available on the website. Okay, so what we're going to do is lay these down and make like a square panel. Okay, so I'm going to get my bone creaser in. There we go. And just pressing down there breaks those fibres of that card up. Okay, and any excess glue just either swipe away or it will become dry. And when it's dry it'll become clear, I should say. So we want to go all the way around this box now. Okay, so we've added these to all 4 sides. So I'm just going to place that down there. I'm just going to shut this window too, guys, because it's rattling a little bit. There we go. Annoying little rattle in the background. There we go. And Ricky's put that on the wrong way. It goes the other way. Ignore that. Was that concentrated on the rattle in the background? There we go. So it doesn't matter because we are going to be using that glue tab, so don't worry. Right. So press that down. So make sure all of your glue tabs go in the same direction. Okay. There we go. Slight overhang there. There we go. Just make sure you're butted right up to your joins there. I think I need to put my glasses back on. There we go. Oh dear. So we want this one. And all my directions wrong today. Mind you, I did a video the other day, I didn't know my left from my right. Oh dear, was having a wobbly. There we go. You know me, there's always something goes wrong. Something is pear-shaped. There we go. I'm human. Well, I think I am. Right, so you have all of those then glued in place. We then want to fold the glue tabs, and then we're going to be gluing them to make like a cube. I'm just going to put some glue on the 2 tabs, bring that in and hold it till you know it's grabbed. And then fold that one until it's grabbed. Quite an ingenious box this. but you do need to see it put together. There are in full instructions, as always, with tonic, so if you buy a genuine tonic set, you will get instructions, guys, so don't worry. So just pinch those together till you know they've grabbed, and that one hasn't. We'll hold it a little bit longer. Now I would say 200 GSM, absolutely perfect. This green card I'm using is a little bit lighter, so it's not holding the shape as well as I would like, but we're going to go with it because it's the colour that I wanted. But I would say a 240 is perfect for 3D. So now you're going to add your top, okay? There we go. And then apply that to the top edge, like so. And you can pinch and hold so you know you're in the right place. And just bring those sides in, like so. And then just hold it until you know you can move on to your next stage. There we go. Like I said, I would like this card to have been a little bit thicker. I'm not quite sure of its weight, to be honest. It feels quite thin, and it's not like me to have thin cardstock floating around, to be honest. It's normally 240 or our Craft Perfect, or it's 300. So now you have that cube. So what you want to do is add adhesive to the bottom there, and you're going to place one on the left and you're going to place one on the right. Okay, this is going to act like a stopper, so just place those like that. Okay, just as stoppers. Make sure they're straight at the back and level. Okay, and I'm going to leave that to one side. There we go. There. Now we've got this funny shape looking thing, so we want to fold him up, fold in those glue tabs, and then it kind of finds its way, and we want this shape. Okay, so what we want to do is add adhesive, so under there, under there, under there, under there, and cheeky under there. And then we want to fold it in. It'll naturally find its way, guys, so don't worry. And then you're just going to hold it. If you find things tricky to hold, just lean them against the desk and use the desk as your platform for holding things. I find if you've got something firm underneath, it makes life a lot easier then. So I'm just going to add a little bit more glue underneath here because I can see it's gaping just a little bit, and then glue that down in place. There we go. So you then have this piece here. So I add adhesive to here, like so. There we go. And then I add this piece onto that. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm telling porkies. I glue this to the base first. Oh, it nearly got me. Nearly got me. There we go. We place this on top of your base and then we glue that section on. Okay. Nearly got me there, guys. We make things ahead of time, and then if we've not had time to do a video and we go back and make a video, then it's all a little bit foggy. We're learning to make videos as we go, and then that way it's fresh in our minds. We have lots of boxes in between, one from another to another, so the brain gets a little bit foggy. And now I'm 52, I don't need any excuse to have a foggy brain. So that goes on there as a decorative piece. Okay, you'll make sure yours is a little bit more square on than that. I'm not happy with that. Let's do that again. Don't like wonky donkey. There we go. Right, so hopefully you're still with me. There we go. So that is that section now complete. Okay, so we're going to move on and we're going to actually make the roof part next. So the roof. Now you have two dies that are this shape. You have one that is larger than the other. Okay, so let me just show you. I'll get it off the sheet. So you have this die here with the rounded corners. This makes a similar shape to this, but smaller. This is for the side of your house, not for the roof. The larger one is for your roof. Okay, so they do look very similar. So you need two of those. You'll need two of these for the roof section. Okay, so we just cut them in black. And then you're going to need two of these for each side of the roof section. And then these are going to be our roof tiles. Okay, so we've gone in similar colours with a little bit of grey mixed in there. So what you want to do is apply glue to this section here. Just like so. And then add this section. And pinch those together. And then we're going to add the next section. So again, glue. As always, wet adhesive is the way to go. So the Tonic Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, best glue in the world. There we go. Gives you that longevity where tape eventually will dry out and it will go yellow as well. Red liner's not too bad, but obviously tissue tape will discolour over a period of time. There are uses for different glues and different tapes, and 3D really is wet adhesive. So you can see now we've got that roof attached. So now we want to repeat the same process on the opposite side. Okay, so we have that other roof piece, and make sure you take your time and you're all lined up there. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to add adhesive to this side, just repeating what we did on the opposite side. There we go. And then you're going to bring that one down to meet that one, like so. And then you say, oh, but we've got a gaping hole. This is where your roof section comes in. So we're going to add adhesive to this circular section. and we're going to add the other one to it, back to back. And then pinch those together when you're happy with your placement. And that is the very top done. So now we want to add some tiles. So I am going to go in with the grey first. And I'm not taking the glue all the way to the edge, okay? Because I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to have an overhang of just short of where the shortest piece is here. And then you're going to bring that in. And let's line him up. There we go. And that's the first one in place. So then we want to just go along till we're happy. And I kind of can put glue all the way along this one. And then I want to place it so there's just a slight overhang. Oh, she says. There we go. Make sure you kind of stay straight. Otherwise you'll have a wonky roof. Right. And just repeat this process then until we've gone all the way across. Okay. I'm just going to unclog my glue, guys. So if you get a clog in your glue, just press it back into your lid, screw it and unscrew. And you can do that again if you wish, if you think you've got quite a blockage there. And that releases any dried glue that's in your nib. So we're going to go with another green. Oh, I've got some gunk somewhere. Come on. No, it's not going to play ball. And then press that one down there. Let's have another look at this. Why are we getting clogged? Sometimes you will have to take your nib out if you've got a thick piece of glue that's trapped inside. But it's no biggie. It's no biggie. So then we want to add this panel now. And we want to just line that up there. Now it doesn't matter about it being a tad short there, because I've obviously, I can go all the way to the top depending on how much I gap these tiles, but the roof is going on there, so you're not going to see that part. So we're going to flip it over and we're going to repeat the same again. So we'll kind of rinse and repeat. We don't want to take the glue all the way to the edge on this one. Again, just add it so that slight little overhang there, because you don't want to see the green through. So we just bring that down a tad. There we go. And the green one. Cool tiles. Love these tiles. I think they're awesome. And then again with the grey. I might have to take my lid off that. I've got a blob of glue trapped somewhere, I think. So for now, we're just gonna place that in there. I put a new bottle in yesterday, so there could be maybe a little thick glob of glue in the top there when it's settled. So again, we're going to go with the green. There we go. And then we're going to go in with that grey again. There we go. And then we're going to add the roof. I'm going to place that right in the middle and then hold that down. And that is your roof sealed shut. So you didn't need to add a glue tab onto the inside to seal it because the outer hinge seals it. And this is kind of like a backward set in that sense of the opinion that when we make the coffin shortly, we seal it from the outside with tabs instead of the inside, and it's the same with the roof. It's sealed together there from the outside. So that is now our roof in place. So we have a base and we have a roof. Okay, so now we're going to put together the coffin. Okay, so let's get all our little pieces. Oops, quite a few little pieces. So as you'll see, we have a base and we have a lid. You will require 2 for both. So 2 for the lid, 2 for the base. So the base is going to have longer sections. I can't think of my words then, because obviously that's the main box. Now this gift box has a tray for the sweets at the top, so no panic, this is a decorative piece. You could put something inside it if you want to. So we're going to have the 2 larger pieces there, and then we're going to have 4 of these longer, smaller pieces there. We've got 4 of these pieces, and then we've got 2 of these pieces, and they'll be for the lid. And we have a hinge. Okay, now these are decorative pieces. These will be going on the base, and then these will be the hinges for your lid. So we'll make this part up. So we're going to go for the base to begin with. So take one of these and put your glue on your tabs, and then place that larger section on top there. Okay, repeat the same on the opposite side. So down we go, and we can go over those with our precision tool. Got glue everywhere. And then we're going to go in with these smaller sections. So let's put that down there. Oops. Let's put that to one side. I'll unglue that shortly. And then we've got 2 there. So another section, and we just work our way around then, adding these sections. There we go. and then one section at the bottom. Okay, just like so. Now you can see all these sections we have, and you can see that that is the length of each panel. So what we want to do, whilst it's flat, just because it makes it easier, we're going to place 1/2 on each tab. So make sure that it's butted up just right. And then you don't want another one here because that one is going to this one. So we need another one here. This just gives you some way to press against the cardstock because you've got it on your desk. So again, make sure you're lined up correctly. You might want to do this from the inside out, if that makes sense. And then press that down. So again, we can use our creaser to make sure that they're adhered. So again, we don't want one on there. Excuse me, froggy throat. So then we're going to add this to this one, like we did before. I mean, you could just go like that and glue them all together, which is how I normally do it, but I'm thinking if you're all fingers and thumbs, this might be an easier way for you to glue those together. Okay, and then it's flat. So again, we want one on this side, so we've gone all the way round. Okay, couple more. You want to make sure that they're all level and you don't have anything overhanging at the top, because obviously we're going to be putting the lid over the top, so we don't have anything overhanging here. And then we've got that last one to add here. Okay, and it does look a little bit peculiar at this moment in time, so just make sure you've got all of those tabs on the outside, and then we're going to bring one in to the other and then hook them together. And you see where we're going now. So we want adhesive just on the green tab. I want to bring that into that centre crease line and then pinch. And as you'll see, all pinches together perfectly. Okay. So just fold one out the way whilst you add the glue there. Go all the way round. Oops. Missed one out there. go. And then we squeeze that one in. You can see now we're starting to form the coffin shape. A little bit of glue there on that green tab. There we go. And then this last tab, bring that down. And you want to make sure that these tabs are well and truly stuck down and there's nothing lifting. So all these tabs will need to be well and truly flat. So you can see now you've got your coffin shape. Now you can line the inside of the box as well. So add your other piece in there and then give that a little press down inside, because we like all the workings to be neat. It's a pet hate of mine. There we go. So as you can see now, we've got that shape. Now we want to repeat the same again, but we want to do the lid. So here you have some shorter tabs. So again, we want to add glue to that section. Just like so. Want to repeat the same on the opposite side. And then we want to start adding the shorter sections in. Let's add some glue to a few of those. Right. Okay. Another couple. I know we only need one, don't we? Getting ahead of myself. Oh, that's right. Good Lord, Vicky. Looking at it then thinking, what's going on here? I threw myself by doing an extra tab. There we go. So press down there. And again, same principle with these little tabs. Okay. I'm just going to go for it this time. Have I put the wrong tabs on that? I've put the wrong tab on there, I think. Yeah, what have I put on there? Let me have a look at that. Sorry guys, this tab is not right. I've no idea why it's that shape. Oh, I think I just overglued it, had I? No, it's got a square edge to it. That's not right. Let me just find the piece I'm looking for. Sorry guys. It must have got an extra snip in it somewhere when I was prepping it. No fear, we'll cut another one. And we're going to line it so we're not going to see anything. We'll just cut another one of those. Right. Might be a slight wobble in the desk, apologies. Yeah, for some reason, that piece of cardstock that I got rid of had gone a bit funky. Right, let's have a look now. That's it. So we need that square edge. For some reason, that had the wrong, I don't know what was going on there. There we go. Never fear, we'll get there. Right, now we've got the right piece in. Oh dear dear, there we go. Now we're going to add these hinges like we did before. So 1/2 goes on, but you know what, I'm going to be a daredevil and I'm going to go for it. Do the two together. So hold one side, bring the other side to, and then you can do a corner at once. It's up to you, you can do one side at a time, but you know what, because we can, we will. So just bring one to one side of the score line, one to the other, and then just squeeze them together. You might want to do one side like we did with the base if that is easier. There we go. And again, the wet adhesive. There we go. Bring that in. And just pinch with your fingers till you know you can move on to your next stage. All the way around. Now you could be doing red hinges, purple hinges, orange hinges. You could be going in with a bit of bling bling or pew pew as the girls say, with some mirror or even some red glitter or purple glitter card. It's up to you how much you want to jazz these up. So again, just adding this last section in. Last one. There we go. Just press that down a little bit. A bit squiffy with that one. There we go. And then like we did before, we want to cover the workings, so we don't want to see any of that in there. Not that you'd actually see in that part, but we want to know our work is all neat and tidy. Like so. So there is your lid. Like so. You've got your nice little coffin there. Now we've got some decorative panels here. So we've gone with the grey. We've gone with the top colour of black. So we're just going to bring that into his fellow sized top there, and then add this to that larger base. There we go. And then we want to add this to the lid. There we go. Now, you have a middle section here. Okay, now I've gone a bit squiffy there. It's not exactly straight, but you've got that middle section. So this is where this comes in. So you need to glue 2 of these back to back, just to make them a little bit more rigid, like a chipboard piece. And then you want to press those together. You also want to enforce the circular part. Okay, so we want 1 on each side, because this will be getting some wear and tear. Okay, and all will become clear. So press that on there. So that's quite a deep chipboardy piece now. Okay. So what we want to do is add adhesive to that bottom section. And as you'll see, it fits in the centre at the front. And just pinch that till you know it's grabbed. Okay. So now we have the hinge. So we want the hinge to be glued on the inside of the lid, just up to that score line. Okay. And you want to press and hold that till you know it's grabbed. So just like that, and then hold. Now obviously you're going to be taking a lot more time with your box than I am with the video, so you will make sure each section is dry before you go ahead to the next. But what you want to do then is place your lid on, and you want to fold that back. I'm being careful because obviously mine isn't dry. And I want to add adhesive to the underside of that hinge, and then I want to kind of push the lid towards the back, and then you're going to hold and press, and this will be the perfect placement for your hinge. Okay, you're not going to see the hinge when it's all put together. Okay, so we're going to let that do its own thing and let it dry. I am, however, going to add a length of ribbon, so I'm going a little bit longer than I need to, and I'm folding that ribbon over. Okay, and then I'm looping it through from the front to the back, and then I'm bringing my 2 ties back through that hole, and then I'm going to tie that off. Okay, and we're going to leave that as it is for now. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the largest part of the box. Okay, so we have 1 back piece, 1 front piece. We have 2 top pieces, which is the smaller of the square, and then you have that one that I showed you before. It has the rounded edge here. You want 2 of those. Okay, and you'll see you've got glue tabs on both. You also then want this larger piece. Okay, I'm going to push those to one side for a moment. I hope we've got everything that we need. We have. So as you'll see, you have this section here. So what we want to do is we want to glue that to the point to point. See that? So this acts as a glue tab here. So we want to glue that there to there. All right, so we're going to do that now. Just to that section. Just make sure you're all level and neat, like so. And you can go from the other side and burnish that. Okay, and then we want to repeat the same on this other side. So again, to add adhesive to this section, and then we want to add that in a neat line top to bottom. There we go. So you have some glue tabs. You've got a wide one and you've got a narrow one. We want the wider one, and we want to add adhesive to that now. And we're going to add this to this end panel here. Making sure we're all lined up neatly. Okay. And I am going to burnish that. There we go. And we're going to repeat the process on this other side. So again, you want adhesive along here. And we're going to bring that in. And then burnish that card so that you know it's well adhered. So now you've got that in a row. Okay. So now we want to add these die cut pieces to each end. Okay. So again, we're going to add glue to the glue tab. Like so. Burnish those score lines. Repeat the process on the other end. Now flip it round so it's facing you like that. And you'll see where the edge of these glue tabs finish. There's a line. We want to add these thin, they're going to be shelves basically, like a hinge for a shelf. And we want to make sure we add adhesive to one edge. Excuse me. And then we're going to add this to the top of that line. And you'll see there's like a little indented line when you look at this section. And you want to add that to that section there so that you've got a lip which is going to act as a bracket for your shelf. So I'm going to show you that again. There's a, see how you see the indents from this side? You can see them from this side here. And that shelf wants to glue there. Okay. So again, I'm going to add adhesive. And I'm going to look for that indent so I know where to go. and then line that up with that line. It's easier to add this now than later. And just make sure that they are all stuck down there and they're not going to move anywhere. Just flip that round. So now you've got this type of shape. Okay. So the instructions might show you another way, but I found this way works best for me, but you're going to find your own way. Okay. So you have this front panel here. Okay. Now this front panel is going to be glued to this section here. So where you've got this piece that folds in it, that's going to be your back. Okay, but we don't want to put the back panel on yet. That's the last section that we're going to add. So you'll see you've got like an overhang tray here. That's perfectly fine. So what I tend to do at this point is add my front cover in. And I tend to line it from this join here on the corner. And then I work my way down. Okay. So I'm going to do that now. Now, did I do that section next? I didn't. This is the way I did it. I did it a couple of different ways, and this way worked best for me, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work best for you. So I'm going to put that corner to corner, and then I'm going to pinch the bottom there so that I'm getting it flush with the box. Okay. I'm getting it all lined up from top to bottom. There we go. And just wait until everything has grabbed. Now you'll see this little section here, and what you want to do is add adhesive to that section. It's just the little glue tabs. Now at this point I actually add the glue to this side, just because it's then a little awkward to get that in. Okay, so then this finds its way and folds in. Okay, so you're just going to pinch that and hold that till it's grabbed. All right, just like so. We're then going to add glue to the other side here. Okay. And we're going to slide that in and under, and we're going to look for that point again, so make sure we're on point, and then that slides in. You will have to get your fingers in there. So we'll line that side panel up, point to point. Okay. And that'll take a few seconds just to get it in the right place, and then just burnish it with your fingers and grab it until you know it's all stuck there. And then that little tab on the other side, you're just going to lift up with your finger. You will have to get your hand in and then pull it up into place like you did the other side. And I'll show you in a moment, because obviously it's a little bit difficult. See there how you've got them the same on each side? So they don't go to the bottom, they're lifted. That's why you go from this point here down. So you make sure you get them in both places, and then nothing's going to catch then. So then we're going to glue these little side pieces. Okay, and we're going to bring that in. And if you go from this section here, then everything lines up going upwards as well. Okay, and then we're going to bring that in. Now this is why we put those little shelf pieces in first, because adding them now would just make it awkward to get your fingers in there. So you can start to see now it's coming together. So at this point, I hook those bottom hooks in and then tilt it. So you can see that there. I then tilt it and I bring that drawer in. Now you can add those green hinges at the back later if you prefer. It's up to you. You could add those hinges now if you wanted to. Okay, so now you can see you've got your drawer, as I want to call it. So slide it in and out at this point a few times until it finds its, because it's a bit stiff to begin with. Okay, so that glides in and out perfectly, and you'll see it sits flush here with this. Okay, so you can start to see it come together now, can't you guys? So when this is pulled forward, something is going to push these doors open. Can you see where we're going now with that? Okay, so at this point we want to add the coffin, and we want to make sure it's lined up to the center of those doors with your pulley. We're going to glue the coffin to the base. So add adhesive, and then we're going to eyeball this so that it's center and it's straight. You see that? And then just press down until that is adhered to this base. Move your ribbons to the front. And that is central then to your doors. All right, so we're going to let that dry. In the meantime, these are the shelves. So remember when we said we had a bracket each side for the shelf? You will add adhesive to the edge of your shelf, or I just add a little bit to the underside of each shelf. And then with the longest edge, trap those at the front, and then we want to slide that shelf in, and we want to pinch it on one side to adhere, and then we want to pinch it on the other side until we know it's grabbed onto that shelf. So your tweezers might be your best friend here, just till you've got one section stuck, and you can go in then and get your fingers in to stick the rest. Now you want to make sure that that is stuck down, so you can get your fingers in. You slide that bottom. Oh, we don't really want to pull that out at the moment, do we, to be fair? So this just takes a little time just to get it all stuck. I need a little bit more glue on my bracket. I think that's the problem. Right. you might just want to stick in one side at a time. Okay. Like I say, you will find your own way of doing it, which works best for you. You might find following the instructions step by step is the way for you to go. But for me personally, I just found that that way worked for me. So, have we got enough adhesive on this side now? Let's have a look. I'm going to get my finger in. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my creaser in there. There we go. We've got something to press against then, haven't we? And like everything, once you've made one, your next one will go a lot easier. Okay. So, now you've got these strings. So I'm just going to wait a minute until that's dried a little bit more. So I'll get some red liner out because we want a piece of that. And then we can have some fun and decorate. So you're going to wait until yours is dried, a lot drier than mine. But as you pull, put your finger on this back piece until we've glued it together. When then you pull this front, your coffin lid will lift up. So what we want to do is pull that out till it can go no more. We want to pull this lid up and we want to make sure there is a little bit of give in there. So we don't want it taut because we want the lid to go back down afterwards. So what you want to do at this point is pinch it there, push it back. It can be a bit fiddly. And then make sure your lid goes down. So it wants a little bit of give, not too much give, because if you've got too much give, when it opens, the lid won't open. Yeah, so I want a little bit. So this is, you have to just bear with them all fingers and thumbs. What have I got catching there? Right. There we go. So I want it about there, I think. This takes a little while to work out where you want your string to be. So I am going to have mine about there. Okay. And just work with it till you know you're happy with that. So this is why I say to you, make sure that you've glued your brackets down well, because you don't want anything to catch. And I have a little bit of catch there. So make sure they are well and truly glued together. This is why rushing in a video doesn't pay off. So let's just add a little bit more glue there. And we want a little bit more glue. I'm just cutching it a minute, guys. I do apologise. Let's put a little bit more adhesive on there. Right, I'm going to pinch that with my scissors. It's just catching a little bit because I haven't put adhesive all the way to the edge of that bracket. And you do need to make sure they are well and truly stuck down. Okay, so now let's have another. I think that bottom one is catching a little bit. Yes, it is. So let's slide it out a little bit. Get my nail under there. I can see that why it's catching now. So let's find a little piece of card. Put put a little bit of glue on there. A little bit more. Wasn't enough, was it? There we go. Now we've caught it. And then we can press down then with the tweezers. There we go. So as long as those edges are glued down well. So, are we all glued down? Not quite. I'll hold that just for a second. I'm glad that we've actually done that, because then you'll know that you really need to get those edges of your decorative piece on the coffin well and truly flat. Now, of all the ones that I've made, I haven't actually had that happen, but there we go. It will happen if it's going to be on a video. So you push that in, and then all your doors and everything should close like so. Just make sure you glue those things in. Now I'm going to move this tape now. And then we're going to add this other shelf to the top to hide your ribbon. And we're going to slide that over the top, bend it in, and put that in place. Okay. And then just pinch it, because this shelf is where your sweeties are going to sit. Now, I should say, before you put your coffin in, if you want to put a little skeleton inside your coffin, do it before you add your coffin to the box, okay? So now you can see we've got these glue tabs at the back. We want to add adhesive to each of those glue tabs there. And then pinch those in. So again, I'm just going to bring my tweezers in, just to get those stuck together. It's one of those boxes you do need to maneuver it and hug it against you, which is a bit difficult to show on a video. There we go. And then bring that down. I think the kids are going to have great fun with these for hours. Probably find the men folk in the house will also be having a little play, wondering how it went together. So now you've got this back section, and like we did with the front section, I like to go from this point downwards, okay? So one side at a time, and bring that down. I'm going to add glue onto this other glue tab. And bring that down. Going to add glue to this side section. Going to add a little bit more to there. There we go. then we want to add some glue to this other section. And then hold that together. Let's make sure it's all grabbed before we move on. There we go. So your sweeties will go in this section here. That's still not grabbed. Let me just hold that a little bit longer. We don't want it to be falling apart at this point. Have some patience, Victoria. So your sweeties will go in this compartment here, and then your roof sits on like so. So now it's up to decorating. So we've got the doors, we've got the hinges, and off we go. So we've got this little front section here that we're going to decorate. So I've gone ahead and put a little mirror cross in there. So this is going to decorate that front section. Like so. And I'm just going to tip it up. I've got it where I want it. And there we go. There we are. You could also add this decorative piece in before if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. Okay, and you're happy with that bit. I'm going to close that off. I've still got that bottom glue tab catching there. We'll sort that out shortly. So leave that kind of open a little bit whilst we add the doors. And it's at a funny angle for you to see what I'm doing, so I will tilt it up in a moment. Okay, and then we'll do the other door. And you'll see we have these decorative pieces. Now they go at the top of each door, optional of course. It's up to you how much or how less you want to decorate these. And again, I'm just going to go in with my tweezers, and I'm just going over that top layer there. So if you wanted to make these bling a little bit, you could add a mirror. So oops. Get rid of that glue. And then we're going to go on this section here. There we go. And any little bits of glue will dry clear. So now we want some little hinges. So I've just gone and cut 2 of the hinges. Now you could add another 2 if you wanted to, but I'm just having the one hinge at the top there, because I don't think I cut 4. Let me just double check. I don't think I did. No. So we're just going to have one on each side, but you could have another one underneath. And some adhesive there. tiny pieces. And you want to make sure when you add them that you're adding them onto just the door, not past that score line, otherwise your doors won't open. Okay, so I would probably go in and add another one lower down, just to make it look real gothic, spooky. Right, so that's the front of there. So we want to flip it to the side. Now here we've cut some bricks in grey. Okay, these are optional, you don't have to add them if you don't want to, but we are. So I'm going to add one here and one at the bottom. There we go. I'm going to add two at the back. So again, I'm going one at the bottom, one at the top. There we go. And flip it and add some onto this other side. So one down there. And then this one we're gone. And then that's our little bricks added. Now I have actually cut the windows and I've used the tiles from the roof there, and I've just placed them down each side to act like curtains. But I've not actually backed them on anything yet, so I'm going to back them on a bit of white card. So just add some adhesive there and then I'll cut those out freehand. Just realised then we didn't have the backers on. So there we go. So I'll add those. There we go. And then freehand just follow the window. I mean, you could be adding that cobwebby stuff, that fabric. You could drape it in that afterwards. There's all sorts of different things. You could add vellum for the windows, cut in through the sides of the box, and then have a tea light if you were not putting the coffin in, and do something else with it. So we're going to add that now to the sides. You know, you could turn this box into something else, and I have done for the launch. I've done a little Santa's workshop. So instead of the coffin, when you slide the tray, the little sleigh pops out. So there we go. Add another window. I mean, we could have added orange for the curtains or a pattern paper, but we've just gone with the green, just tying it all in there to match. So let's put a window on the back. Obviously you don't have to add a window if you don't want to. Okay, so now you can start to see it come together. So we've got various little decorations here. So I am going to have a rip, R.I.P, and we're going to put that onto this backer, and we're going to have that on the front. I'm going to add a little foam pad. So little foam pad in the middle there, and we're going to place him on the front there. We're then going to sneak in a couple of these spooky faces. So we're just going to slide that under there. Okay. And this leaves a deboss when you cut them out. And I've just gone in, whilst it's still in the dye, with a fine liner pen and coloured in there just to give it a bit more of a pop. But that's optional. So we have one on this other side. Now we've got some little spiders. So we're going to go ahead and add a little spooky spider there. And another one here. There we go. I'm going to add one of these skeletons that we've just double layered up and gone over with some black soot ink. We're going to put him in the top section there. Now, like I say, you'll be putting some aniseed balls or some sort of sweets in that top section. And then when they've eaten all the sweets, they'll go, oh, a skeleton under there. And your lid would go on like so. So we're going to carry on decorating. So we're going to put this on the side. And we're going to pop him down there. And then we've got another one there, which we've cut in our Craft Perfect. And again, we've gone in with a black liner pen just to give him a bit of a scary face and make him pop a little bit there. We've also got ones to go on the front. Now it's up to you how much decoration you want to add. I'm just going to overlap him a little bit. Oh, she says. There we go. So he's just peeking out from behind him. I can see you. Right. And another one about there. Make sure it's not overhanging because you need it to lay flat. Okay. I've then got a keep out. So I'm going to add glue to the keep out. Going to put that on the backing plate. And I've gone for white just to make it pop, because obviously you want people to be. And I'm just going to carefully pull that forward. I'm being careful because my glue's not dry. And then I'm going to put adhesive on one half of that panel. And then I want it over one half of the door. So I'm just going to add that there. Okay. Make sure that's in place. And it just fits just above where it's going to open, like so. And then we want to decorate this other side, don't we? So again, I'm going to have another scary face there, and another pumpkin. I think we'll have you there. And then add this last pumpkin at the back. You might want to add another one there just to even it out a little bit. Okay. And then we've got some spiders here. So I'd like one overhanging the window. I'll stick that on there. One on the window on the other side. So it can be there. One across the back, of course. Like so. So it can be in that window frame. Just make sure they are in place. And then we want to scatter a few of these spiders then. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my hand. I just find it easier that way. So I'm going to put a few of these on the roof. So adding that eerie look. Making sure Vicky gets all these on the house and doesn't leave one on a desk and then thinks it's a real spider, because we've all done that before. Well, I have anyway. And then the last one there, I'll have you creeping up the wall there. And then if we can, I'm not sure we can because we should have done this before we put him together, I'm going to put our Mr. Skeleton inside the box. So in you go, little chap. There we go. So when they open it, there's an element of surprise. So you could put some like little sweets in there that you'd have to tip them out, but you'd fit them in there. So then, bear in mind, mine is catching because I've not glued those tabs down. So, which is annoying. There we go. So the lid sits on there. And that is your box complete. Now, like I said, you might want to stick with the instructions at some places. I found that way worked best for me. But there is your fantastic box. You know, I've had difficulties saying this box name for weeks. Macabre Mausoleum. So I'm hoping I'm saying that right. But there we go. So you can make it as spooky as you want. You could add the cobwebbing on there if you wanted to. You lift the lid off and you've got the sweeties on top of there. And then when you pull the tray out, your coffin opens up inside. Isn't that brilliant? I just think it's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. And then closes shut. So the only thing to remember with this one is make sure that those tabs around the coffin are glued completely flat all the way around the edge, and you'll have no issues whatsoever. So I just want to say thank you very much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have your company as always. If you do want to purchase this box and you'd like to use my affiliate links, this adds no extra cost to you whatsoever. You will find a link in the description. It'll be highlighted in blue. If you click that link, it takes you straight to the Tonic Studios website where you can purchase this die set and anything else that you need, glue, card, etc. And I do make a small commission from each sale, but there is no extra charge to you. You pay just what you would pay if you went straight onto the Tonic Studios website. But it's just a way of supporting the creator doing the tutorials. And it's very much appreciated. So I want to say thank you to those of you that do that. And that all being said, happy crafting guys, and I'll catch you all soon. Take care.